Hi everyone, I hope you're okay. So I often get asked how I do my splattered paint backgrounds, and I thought if I do a video for you it will show you what to do. So for this one what I used was the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. Now these are by Sheena Douglas. I don't know if you'll be able to get these colours anymore, but you can use any colours you want. So this is the Heather, Winter Night and the Deepest Ocean. I also used the Jane Davenport watercolour tin, and this is the Brights palette. And there's the Spectrum Noir metallic ink, and this is the gold plate colour. You will also need some white card, a pot of water, paintbrushes and some dry kitchen roll. Now this is my splatter box, I call it, that I made myself. Usually the top of it would be across here so it stops it from going everywhere, and this would just be straight on my glass mat, the card. But for videoing I've done it this way, so it's quite high. Hopefully it'll stop the splats going everywhere. So what I do first off is I get my sparkle inks and I will put them directly onto my glass mat, like so. This is the Heather colour. Any colour combination would work really well with making this technique, and you can also use so many different things. You don't have to use the sparkle pens, you don't have to use watercolours, you could use acrylic paints, you could use your marker, like watercolour marker pens, put them on your glass mat and add water to them. So there's some colours on there now, and what I do is I get my paintbrush and I water down the ink, and all you do, it's really easy, get your paintbrush over here and start flicking. All I'm doing is quite firm taps on the paintbrush and then watering it down a lot again, and you move your paintbrush all over, and I think the more watered down, the more muted your colours will be. So I like to add quite a bit of water, and then if I want to build up a bit of darker colour, so you can see I've gone back in there with quite a bit of water, and it's really muted colour, because you can always add more, go darker with it. You want to give it a good covering. Also, depending on the angle you're holding your paintbrush, you can work it to where you want the splats to go. Then I took some dry kitchen paper and I patted over this to mute it down a lot. So you can see it's taking a lot of the colour out there, but I like it like that. We'll go back in with more muted. I'm using a smaller paintbrush now. So you can see that depending on the size of paintbrush you're using, it all depends then on how big the paint splats are. And each time you create these, every single one's going to be different. They're never going to be the same. But I just think that they are so unique, making your own backgrounds like this. And then if you feel like you wanted to have a bit more darker colour, like I've watered that down quite a bit now, I'll add some more to the glass mat. It's just playing around with whatever works well for you. So we'll go back in with this one. You can put as little or as much as you want on as well. If you want to just go for something subtle, you don't have to go as crazy like I do with putting so much on. It depends what effect you're wanting really from your background. So I'm then going again with the paper towel. Then what I like to do is I like to add some of the watercolours. So I'm using Jane Davenport's watercolour palette here, and I'm going to go in with the ink colour, but I want to keep it quite watered down at first. Just literally tapping around the page. And then I'm going to use some of the royal colour, which is a nice purpley colour. You can see it there. I love Jane Davenport's watercolour palettes as well. The colours in them are beautiful. They're so easy to work with. But you can see now I'm building up the background with all the colours here. Change my paintbrush size now to this slightly thicker one. You could use a really big paintbrush if you wanted to get really big splats. But it's really simple, it's just easy, it's just about directing your paintbrush into whichever angle you want it to. You can see now I've gone and I've got quite a bit of, quite a wet watercolour there and a lot on the brush, so it's putting more on, but it's making such a nice effect there. So I would then, you could leave it like that, or if you wanted to mute it down again, pat it. You can go back in with your sparkle pens if you wanted to do that. You can build it up more. If you pat it when it's still quite wet, then you're going to get this sort of effect that I created last time when I made the background for one of the cards I made. So get it when it's quite wet, and it sort of makes it into more of a cloudy area. I also mix between the sparkle inks, whatever's on the craft mat, I'll just pick it up because the colours mix nicely together, complement each other really well. Just keep going with your splatting of your inks. And the more you pick up, the more it's going to flick, the bigger the paint splats are going to be. So you can see it's starting to build up nicely, and the areas where I've patted them quite a bit, it's more like cloudy. If you want to dry between layers you can do, but I don't see the point at the moment if you're wanting to make more of this softer effect. Then I'm going to go back in with the Jane Davenport ink. This time I'm not going to water it down as much, I'm going to have it more of a stronger colour. Just light taps with this one now to get the sort of inky blue colour. So that's looking nice there. Then this is going to sound awful, I'm sorry, but I'm going to heat it just to dry it slightly. Then I'm going to go in now with the metallic ink. So I like to swirl it round so it doesn't cause too much of a foam. I've got my paintbrush is clean now. And a little bit goes a long way with these inks. I will often just use it from the lid. It's a beautiful colour. And then just tap around. And then if I want to make some bigger splotches, I'll get a more of a wet paintbrush. say that's enough there. And it really is just as easy as that. So I've managed to create this background quite quickly. So 10 minutes. I could do it probably quicker if it wasn't doing a video, and I hope you can see all the detail on there now. But they are so simple to make. You can make, like, this is quite a detailed one. You can make ones which are more simple. You can use any colours you want, any mediums you want. It's just about playing around and having fun. Anyway, I hope you liked my video. I hope it's been helpful. And if you liked it, please subscribe. Thank you.